This is an overview of tonight and what you'll be seeing, the scenes. General Santa Anna's abolition of Mexico's federal constitution of 1824 has sparked a revolt throughout parts of the country. Zacatecas had been crushed early on, leaving Santa Anna free to turn his attention to Texas. The colonists and the Tejanos banded together to resist the military occupation of Texas. By the end of December 1835, all troops loyal to Santa Anna had been driven from Texas. Infighting between the rebels, however, would leave the Texans unprepared for Santa Anna's counterattack. Okay, so he was on his way. We weren't that prepared, so. Okay? So now we're going to be going to the first station, if you'll follow me.
Citizens, our republic and constitution is dead. Santa Anna has seized our state legislature. He's thrown out our constitution. He has provided armed soldiers from the Central Republic and has occupied the city of Bear now until a force could be repelling them. And that happened on the 2nd of October when he sent a force to Gonzales to get our cannon, which wasn't much of a cannon. 18 men stood against that threat. And pretty soon, colonists from all over, Brazoria, Brazos, all down the east, they came to Little Gonzales to keep that cannon. And they repelled that force and were unable to get the cannon. As people gathered, Stephen F. Austin came, was elected our general. We surrounded this city almost 3 months. Nothing came in, nothing came out. General Coast was suffering. He went, and our people were suffering. They were hungry for foods and provisions. Well, some people thought we should go into winter quarters. Other people says, that is my home. We need to fight now. And Colonel Milam, God rest his soul, convinced him on the 5th of December to do that. And in 5 days' time, we had an honorable surrender by General Coast where he could leave Texas, go back to Mexico with his arms on the promise he would not come back. Now Santa Anna is providing and moving forces. You are at the largest concentration of artillery west of the Mississippi. To keep Texas, we must keep the Alamo here. Colonel Neal, our commander, Colonel Jamison, our engineer, and Captain Carey, in command of the artillerymen, are the people who will do that. Our provisional government is undecided. No reinforcements are come. Our men are hungry since the summer, supplies aren't coming in, and something must be done.
Gentlemen, I wanted to let you know that I've decided to leave Bayard. Governor Smith and the council have been promising us reinforcements and supplies for some time. But I don't think either understands how critical our situation is here on the frontier. Bayard is the key to defending Texas, and we can subsist no longer only on their promises. I'll bring back as many men and supplies as I can, but the decision has been made.
Where are you going, Colonel? When are you going, Colonel?
I'll leave tomorrow. As soon as Colonel Travis can take command.
Travis? I mean, he's the next highest ranking regular officer, but you know, men aren't going to like it.
My absence will be brief. I'll be gone a very short time. I'm hoping no more than 20 days. And I'll return, God willing, soon after the 1st of March.
Where are you going, Colonel?
I'll see to my family first in Mina. Then I'll make for Gonzales. We've received word that the volunteers have been gathering at that place, and I'm hopeful that the merchants of the town may be persuaded to give us some of the supplies we so desperately need.
All right, then, sir, while you're gone, I'm going to continue to work on the fortifications of the Alamo. We've got, what, 20 cannons that are mounted already today?
You can count on us, sir. My artillerymen call themselves the Invincibles. They've all sworn that each can lick 10 Mexicans.
Well, thank you, Captain. I applaud their spirit, but let us hope it does not come to that.
William B. Travis decided to hold an election for commander, and the majority of the men voted for James Bowie. A feud erupted between the two men and their supporters. Finally, Travis and Bowie agreed to act as co-commanders while Colonel Neal was away. The situation changed drastically on February 23rd, however, when General Santa Anna arrived in San Antonio at the head of 1,500 soldiers. The rebels abandoned the town and withdrew inside of the walls of the Alamo.
It's been an eventful day, boys. Who'd have thought the Mexican army would have come back so quick?
I don't know why everyone's so surprised. And anyone who didn't think that General Santa Anna wouldn't reorganize his armies and come back here is a fool. We gave Cos and his men a whipping back in December, but Santa Anna isn't one to let a challenge like that pass.
Colonel, what do you think is going to happen now?
Hard to say for sure. I heard that Travis and his men had sent off some couriers out to Gonzales to try and bring in reinforcements. But it could be weeks before anything like that arrives. Till then, we're on our own.
Do you think they'll let us surrender if nobody comes?
No, I think the time for such civilities has passed. Everyone knows we had Cos and his men, and we let them go. But this country doesn't take kindly to foreign rebels. Don't y'all remember the stories we heard about when Santa Anna took Zacatecas last spring?
So there'll be no quarter. Santa Anna's not going to take any prisoners.
No, not from what his aides told us today. No, no, we're in for some hard times, boys. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm feeling poorly. I'm going to get some rest. Maybe I'll feel better in the morning.
Thank you, Colonel.
As you might already know, James Bowie became so ill that he was confined to his quarters. Travis became the sole commander of the Alamo. Santa Anna ordered his troops to construct a series of batteries that would eventually encircle the Alamo. Inside the Alamo, the members of the garrison passed the time as they waited for the provisional government to send reinforcements to help break the siege.
Colonel Crockett, there's something I've been wondering. What is a man of all your accomplishments doing here?
Well, Daniel, it's pretty simple. After Andy Jackson and company run me out of Washington City, I decided to cut out a new country. I'd always heard that Texas was the garden spot of the world. Looking over to your country, why, that's not far off the mark. What about yourself?
I passed the bar, but it seemed that Kentucky had too many lawyers already. So did every other state I went to. Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas. Well, some of us thought we'd try our luck down here in Texas.
Bother you none that there was a shooting war going on?
The way I understood it was that the Mexican government invited our brethren, now living here, to make homes for themselves. After enduring the privations and sufferings associated with settling a frontier, the government abandoned its republican principles and instituted a tyrannical military despotism. Now that is something at which, the bare mention of which, every true-hearted son of Kentucky feels an instinctive horror. In my mind, the cause of liberty, humanity, and human happiness throughout the world call loudly on every man to come to the aid of Texas.
Seems you understand the situation here fairly well. We came here expecting to live under a republic, but instead, all we've experienced is one revolution after another. What broke the straw for many of us was Santa Anna's tyranny. He promised to protect the Constitution, but instead all he did was throw it out.
Well, if we succeed, the country is ours. If we fail, death in the cause of liberty, humanity, is not a cause for shuddering.
I think I see your point, man. I'm rejoicing, I tell you. I'd rather be in my present circumstances than elected to a seat in Congress for life.
Good. It wasn't just men who were inside the Alamo. Several members of the garrison brought their families with them, supposing it would be safer for them to be inside the old mission walls. These family members also had to endure the hardships of the siege.
things have quieted down quite a bit. I came down to check on you and the baby.
Well, no harm has come to us yet, Almaron. I fed her and put her down for a rest. Here, let me get you something to eat.
I can't help but thinking maybe it wasn't such a good idea to bring you out here to Behar with me. But I guess no place is really safe when the whole countryside's at war. I can't help but believe that eventually our neighbors aren't going to come to our aid.
It's all right, Almaron. I just keep thinking I feel safer here than I did back in our house in Gonzales.
Gregorio, what's going to happen if you happen to get captured by the soldiers? Will they let you go if you promise to be loyal to the Supreme Government?
I wish that were true, but I feel that if I am taken, I'll be faced with the same tragedy as the Americans that I fight beside. The red flag flying over San Fernando means there will be no prisoners.
But Gregorio, what will happen to me and our children? We have done nothing wrong.
Do not think the worst. If something happens to me, I'm sure you will be spared, and the little ones. If the soldiers come, ask for my brother Francisco. He will see that you are cared for, reunited with your family. Enough of such sad talk. I'm only here for a while, and I am hungry.
One reason we know what happened at the siege of the Alamo is because of the Alamo's commander, Colonel William Barrett Travis. Travis began early in the siege to send out letters to his fellow Texans asking for assistance and assessing the situation. He described in clear terms the dire situation within the walls of the Alamo. His last known letters were sent out on March 3rd, 1836, the day one of his couriers, James Butler Bonham, returned to the Alamo. Although he did not know it at the time, delegates meeting at Washington on the Brazos had declared independence for the Republic of Texas.
We read your report on the attack on the 25th. Have they tried another since then?
No, they have been mainly concentrating on extending their entrenched encampment so as to encircle us. Mexicans have been placing artillery batteries nearly all around us at this point. The steady fire from that artillery has made it almost impossible for me to keep up the repair to these walls.
Well, how do you stand on food and supplies?
We have been subsisting on beef and corn, and we have enough more to go for 20 days. However, my ammunition is getting limited, Mr. Bonham. I have written to the provisional government for at least 500 more pounds of cannon powder and various shot as well as rifle powder and lead. I mean, you know as well as I do, we need more men. Have you heard anything?
Well, your letters have caused great concern amongst the Army and the colonists. Everyone is responding to send relief. I spoke with Colonel Neal before I left Gonzales, and he is rallying men and supplies as quick as he can. Now, Major Williamson swears that Colonel Fannin has responded to your letters and is sending a column to Behar as we speak.
Mr. Bonham, do you believe that Colonel Fannin is really on his way to Goliad?
Well, I passed several handfuls of men on my way here, and one man tells me that Colonel Fannin was on his way, but turned back to deal with another Mexican column coming northward from Matamoros. I'd take that as a rumor, though, until we hear something official.
What about news from the delegation? Are they going to declare for independence?
Well, I can assure you, Colonel, that that will happen. The entire mood of the country has shifted as of late. Few people are now talking about statehood within a Mexican federation any longer.
I hope it is true, Mr. Bonham. Under the flag of independence, we are ready to peril our lives 100 times a day. But let our bones reproach our countrymen if they neglect us.
All right, good evening, everyone. What you're about to see took place on the evening of March 5th, 12th day of the siege. It was at that point in time that Santa Anna issued his orders for an assault on the Alamo. For several days, his artillery units had pounded away at the walls of the Alamo, and yet the garrison remained firmly entrenched inside. Now, just 2 days prior to this scene, Santa Anna's army received reinforcements, upwards of 1,000 soldiers. And he later reflected that it was at this critical point that he knew he must act. His rationale? Attack the Texans before they themselves received reinforcements.
Sargento primero, de frente. Sargento primero, I have news for you to pass on to the men. His Excellency has decided to attack the fort and take it by force. You may want to write these orders down, mi sargento. Sí, mi capitán. Órdenes. Listo, mi sargento. Claro. No men will be permitted to attack the fort unless they have proper footwear. Sandals or shoes are to be on the men's feet. Also, any man who is sick will be left behind. There is absolutely no talking once the men leave camp and we get into position to attack. Do you understand these things, mi sargento?
Sí, mi capitán. And when will the attack take place?
Mi sargento, His Excellency has ordered that the attack take place just before sunrise. We are to form our companies and inspect them once they are dismissed. Furthermore, they're to prepare their supper and retire for the night.
Yes. And why, if I may ask, mi capitán, why has His Excellency ordered the attack? Are we not expecting reinforcements from the artillery in a few days?
Sargento, perdón, I was told His Excellency no longer wants to wait. He believes that the rebels will receive reinforcements and that the fort can be taken by surprise attack. The French call it a coup de main, an attack at dawn while the enemy is most likely sleeping or resting. Sargento, success depends on surprise and speed. Impress upon the men. When they move toward the walls, they must move as quickly as possible once the order to attack has been given. There will also be ladders in place to help them over the walls. Understand?
Entendido.
Mi sargento, on a final note, have the men leave their blankets and overcoats as to not be slowed down. And one very important final note, mi sargento.
Sí.
Make sure that the men sharpen their bayonets, for the rebels will not go down without a fight. Make sure, sargento, that they have sharpened them, because it seems as if we will have very intense combat once over the walls.
Entendido.
Gracias, mi sargento. Es todo.
Gracias. Atención. De vuelta a la izquierda.
The garrison had held for 12 days. Although a small group of reinforcements had passed through Santa Anna's lines to help, the garrison still faced overwhelming odds.
Gonzales.
Santa Anna, his attack was designed to use surprise to overcome the advantage that the garrison had by occupying a fortified position.
Officer of the guard! At ease, gentlemen. Lieutenant, I know your men are tired. After 12 days and nights of almost constant bombardment and cannonade. We are all tired, almost beyond human endurance. But hear me, sir. Your men must be especially vigilant tonight. As you certainly have observed, the enemy artillery has ceased firing. That could mean they're running low on ammunition. It could also mean they are up to something.
Captain Bob, do you really think that they might have tried to attack at night?
It is possible. Remember, that is how General Washington carried the British works at Yorktown.
My father and my brother were with Jackson at New Orleans. On that occasion, I heard speak of this many times. The British attacked at first light.
That is why we must be so very careful. Santa Anna fancies himself the Napoleon of the West. Well, he may not be Napoleon, but you can wager he and his officers know their business.
Tell us again, sir, what we should do if any of the men should see something suspicious tonight.
Have him call for the officer of the guard and give the number of his post. It could be that another group of reinforcements has arrived. But if it is an attack, the men must open fire and shout out the alarm for all to hear.
Sir, the men have been talking, and we are concerned. If those people get up against the walls, we cannot depress the cannon to fire upon them.
I'm glad they appreciate the gravity of our situation. Stay alert. Call me if you need me. Lieutenant, inspect your guard and prepare to post them for the night. And pray they can stay awake.
Captain, attend, hunt!